بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
So in a previous video, we spoke about 10 different ways on how to say Jazakallahu khairan. Now, today we want to speak about 4 different ways on how to respond to Jazakallahu khairan and 2 ways on how to not respond to Jazakallahu khairan. The first one, when somebody says Jazakallahu khairan, the most common answer is wa iyyaka. Wa iyyaka. That's the formal way of saying it. Wa iyyaka if it's a male, wa iyyaki if it's a woman. What I would suggest is just stick to wa iyyak. So it is useful for male and for female. Wa iyyak. Now if it's a group of people, you will say wa iyyakum. Wa iyyakum. And it doesn't matter if it's a group of females or if it's a group of males or mixed. If you say wa iyyakum, it is still correct. So that's the first answer, wa iyyak or wa iyyakum. The second answer is wa jazak. If somebody tells you Jazakallahu khairan, you say wa jazak, meaning and may you be rewarded as well. The third answer is very similar to the second one, but instead of saying wa jazak, which means and may you be rewarded as well, you would say, and you would use a different harf atf and say bal jazak, which basically means if I tell you Jazakallahu khairan, may Allah reward you, and you say bal jazak, you are saying rather may he reward you, meaning it's like a humble way of saying I haven't done anything, but rather you need to be rewarded for this. Bal jazak. All right. So the same applies if it was a group of females or a group of men. You say bal jazakum, and that would respond to the whole group. Now the fourth way on how to respond to Jazakallahu khairan, it could be with a different dua. If somebody says Jazakallahu khairan, it's completely fine if you say wa baraka fik. And here you can not mention the name of Allah because his name was mentioned in what they have told you. They say Jazakallahu khairan. So by you saying wa baraka fik, you're basically, and he's understood that you are saying, and may he put the barakah in you. So you don't need to mention the name of Allah, and if you mention, it's completely fine as well. So somebody will say Jazakallahu khairan, you will say wa barakallahu fik. All right, but repeating it becomes repetitive. So it's more eloquent if somebody says Jazakallahu khairan and you say wa baraka fik. The same applies if it's a group of male or females or whatever it might be. You could say wa baraka fikum. Now let's go to the 2 ways on how to not respond. Now the first way is basically by using huruf, articles that are not correct to use here. So many people, somebody will tell them Jazakallahu khairan and they would say wafik, or they might say walaka, or they might say wa alayk, and these articles here are not correctly used. So you don't say any of these. You don't say, somebody says Jazakallahu khairan, you don't say wafik, you don't say wa alayk, walak, you don't say none of this. The second way on how to not respond is by saying wa anta. Many people, they hear Jazakallahu khairan and they say wa anta, but here it doesn't make sense because anta is a pronoun that is only used when it falls in a state of rafa. All right, so if this sounds like Chinese, it's completely fine. It has to do with grammar. But for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, anta is for when it falls into rafa, and iyyaka is when it falls into mansub, nasba. So this is why we would say wa iyyak instead of wa anta, even though technically it means the same. All right, so here you guys have 4 ways on how to respond to Jazakallahu khairan and 2 ways on how to not respond. See you guys on the next one.